Good morning. Welcome to another exciting day in the futures market. Or at least we hope it's exciting. Seems like there's been a lot of exciting moves overnight, so let's check those out. How is everyone this morning? Probably not awake yet like me. So, first thing we check is copper. See, copper just did a free fall overnight. It's free falling from its high. Let's mark off I think, wait, one of the 2 minutes, so let's check out the 5 minute. 5 minute looks a little ugly because of all these. I had all these. You can see the free fall. I marked off all these support points last night when I was on stream, and it blew through them all with no issue. We can get rid of all of these. Boom, boom, boom. So we hit a high last evening right here about 10 p.m. and it's just, I mean, it just hit its low here 20 minutes ago, and that's a 16 point range. That's, $4,000 that it dropped in uh, 8 hours, and it was straight down. I mean, not even nothing that's really even considered a pullback. Never even got close to its SMA line. So this is impressive. I mean, it kind of consolidated finally here for about 2 hours, and then continued to go down. Now it's trying to bounce up, but this would have been an awesome move to catch. Let's check out the indices. We'll check out the S&P. S&P tight range, tighter range than we've been seeing here. About 17 point range. It also, I mean, it had a nice fall from about 11 o'clock last night to just about 2. It's been sideways pretty much since. The NASDAQ. Let's see what the bonds are doing, since the bonds are giving me a signal here, but I don't know. I'm not sure if this is its bottom or not. What was? Let's see what the bonds' range overnight was. Bonds are giving me great signals, so I want to say I want to stop ignoring them, but I'm not sure. Bonds bottomed out here at about 9 o'clock Eastern, and then they hit a top here. So their range has been less than 2 points, but nice move up and clean moves up and down. So it's definitely giving us a buy signal. We'll take a sim on that. Remember, I don't usually trade the bonds in the Gauntlet account because of its high tick value, and I see this most likely bouncing off the SMA line, but maybe not, because it's basically been falling now for 3 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. I'm sorry. Oh, never mind. It went away anyway, so we'll come back and look at that later. Um, okay, back to NASDAQ. Here's NASDAQ overnight. Like a tighter range here as well. So far, about 67 points on the NASI. Looks like it's trying to head back down. Russell. Like a pretty tight range here on the Russell. Yeah, only about 15 points on the Russell. It's trying to head up. Gold. It's like gold might be free falling. Yeah, gold's at daily lows right now, or just was at daily lows. We broke. Looks like we broke them, or maybe bounced off a resistance point from back here. That's a weird resistance point. We'll get rid of that. Doesn't look like it's relevant anymore anyway. Mark off this low. See the bands on gold are stretched wide. And it's the 12-point range. Most of it all has been in, I mean, this move down right here. It started right there just an hour ago or so. Dropped about $1,000 an hour. Crude oil. Crude oil's also been heading down. It's what signal copper, wrong copper chart. Coppers gave us a buy here back before, right before I came on and before I was awake yet. It's giving us a buy now in the 5-minute, but about to butt up against this SMA line, and this has been a strong downtrend as we talked about. The one buy signal we got here fizzled out right away, so I'm would be very hesitant to say this is where the reversal's starting. This is a nice 2-minute candle that went up 15 ticks, but and this, I mean, this signal on the 2-minute, if we had caught it, would have worked. You can see it went to over 20 tick profit target, but this here on the 5-minute, I'm not sure about. Back to crude oil. Crude looks like it's been going down most of the night with some sharp pullbacks. It's at its low of the day on the last two candles. That there. About a 1.3 point move overnight. That's the range right now. As it continues to try and push down. And natural gas. Let's see what you're doing. Natural gas. Oops, I hit the 2-minute chart. Natural gas has been rangy until it finally gave it up here. Let's mark it off on the 5. You can see so far our ranges are well within yesterday's on almost every chart. So right now we're looking at inside days on most assets. This was about 170 tick range. I believe we marked everything off now for overnight. I've been watching Bitcoin, but Bitcoin just had a nice big fall, but it had a rise overnight. Let's see what Bitcoin's actual price is. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, 64,875. Not horrid. Oh, now we look for some opportunities. We can start charting some stuff off here to see what would have worked. This would have been a good trade here, I think. On the NASDAQ, or maybe, well, not a profit target yet. It's kind of slowly grinding down, so we'll watch that. I'll show what this yellow line is here for. We'll get rid of that. Um, let's chart off our copper. You can see this big move down started here. Which of course would have been a good, good trade, but this is the kind of trade you want to stay in. At least you want to stay here until it's sideways, then figure out a way to get back in here. It only ever hit the SMA line on the 2-minute. Looks like this one time here. And you can see that it never really, until here, didn't touch the ATR line. So if you're using either of these as a stop, you could have just rode this all the way down for that almost that full move. Gave a buy signal here, which would have fizzled out. And I mean, theoretically, that would have been a trade I would have taken based on, it did come up. We weren't near the bands. The bands had already started widening again in an upward direction. So it looked like there might have been a time that it was trying to, recover, but it fizzled out. So that would have been a losing trade. Those happen. And the next leg down would have been good. Another 20 tick winner easily. Then this, this buy signal here, this would have been an iffy one for me. The SMA wasn't trending downward that hard, that bad at this point. It come up already, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 green cans, 5 out of 6 green candles. So I don't know if I would have got in on this trade, but we'll mark it, and it would have been a winner. And then we kind of ranged here, and it looks like these might have ended up in stop outs. Let's see, maybe not. Yeah, there it goes. Stop me out there. And we could have tried again on this sell. Clone. Looks like we would have gotten into this next leg down that way. So and then we would have hit this buy that would have went to profit target. So since open on copper, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. You can see one, two, three, three, one. No, I'm sorry. One, two, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 4 to 2, 5 to 2, and we can look at the 1 minute, see if we could have got someplace else in here. But for now, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1, 8 to 1, 9 to 1, 10, 11. 11 wins, one loss on copper. This is the 1 minute chart. 1 minute chart only offered us one additional sell signal or short signal coming down, so that would have worked, but could have got in on any of these pullbacks to the SMA. Well, here and here. Save that. Like it's trying to recover. Let's mark off an obvious resistance if it does try to recover. I guess this would be the last major resistance point right here. And it's still over 40 ticks away from that. And you can mark off this area here as next one, and then this one here. Those are the resistance points we can worry about, besides the 200 EMA. Ouch. You know, this raw chart really, you can really see that free fall without the bands there kind of scrunching it together. That's just an impressive fall. So continue to watch. Anybody awake out there? Doesn't look like it. Oh, no one on YouTube at all. So, while we wait for some signals, something to happen, I guess we can continue charting out the night. Allows me to, oops, save time later. Looks like gold gave us some good signals overnight. Well, yeah, 2 minute chart. Down, down. This buy signal here into the bands on the 2 minute and on a downward band, I would not have taken this. I would have failed this. I would have taken. It looks like this is would have stopped out. Maybe not. Yeah, it would have. And then this is where you start getting into this getting stopped multiple signals. I would have, saw this back uptrend, another buy signal, would have ended up getting in that long. This is where you can start getting some losers in a row because there's nothing, these aren't doing anything that's against my strategy. So this is where you can kind of, the bot signals can be a little bit off based on the movement. Possibility that, the should maybe reduce size, not size, but reduce the profit target. I don't know. It's not sure exactly how to prevent this. So eventually, so this would have resulted in 3 losses in a row, which is, the most I've ever really seen using the indicator signals and, my own strategy, by looking at the signal and then looking at the bands, looking at the SMA. It's been in 5, I think, is the most I've seen in a row. See, and then this works here. The problem is the goal is a 1.6 to 1.2. It's a 1.33 risk reward to risk, so it's not like 1.5 or 1.6. So it takes more than, you know takes a little more than 2 wins to make up for 3 losses. Oops, that's right. We had a signal on. There's our 2 wins to make up for those 3 losses. We had a signal on crude. What's crude doing? Crude. Ooh, I missed that signal. That's a shame. But you see here, crude gave us a signal here. Then this is going up nicely. Well, there we go. A natural gas signal. Natural gas doing the same thing. Something poked the energies. This has a minute on this candle. Yep, this candle's already up 40 ticks. So we see it kind of bounced off its 200 EMA. Big move up, so I'm not sure whether or not we're going to see this as a sustained move. We'll take it on a sim though. Gas. There we go. Yep. That's actually a big warning sign now that I look at this. Actually, why does this look weird? Wait a minute. I think this should be NG20, shouldn't it? Maybe? This doesn't look like the right chart. I think gas might have rolled. Where does it say we're at right now? 5104 to 500, 5100. This shows me. Okay, I think our front month is wrong here on the NinjaTrader. Let's see. Maybe not. Oh, I'm on a 50 tick chart. That would explain why it looks different. Never mind. Okay, so we didn't get in that trade. I forgot that I moved this to a tick chart to experiment with stuff. Okay, so we didn't just get into that trade. See what it does. While we're here, we can mark off its signals throughout the night. Looks like this will be a little bit harder to trade. You can see here, this move would have taken forever. 21. It's over. This is a 2.5 hour trade to get 40 ticks. This I would not have gotten into. This I would not have gotten into. This one I would have. So let's see. Looks like 40 might have been more too ambitious overnight based on these moves. This would have stopped out right there. As you can see, none of these had follow through. Normally I'm looking for 40 ticks on natural gas, just because of the way it moves. But none of these had the follow through to get me there. Looks like this would have been another long one before finally stopping me out here. This would have been good. So I did go. Let's see, how far did it go? 130. So this would have actually triggered my trailing stop. This would have actually stopped me out once it came back all the way back down here for about $100 in profit. But that's not the way I do things. I take that, instead of taking that as a win on my spreadsheet, I take it as a loss. But well, let's see if this. It looks like this would have been our first good winner. Yeah, there's our 40 ticks. And it looks like going back up would have got it too. Right here. Maybe not. Okay. 8 o'clock on the East Coast. Hour and a half from the New York Open. So that would have worked. And it looks like would still be in this trade here. Is that natural gas did immediately come back down, harsh here coming down. So we had that big candle up and then a big candle back down. So we'll watch that as well. Remember, a good portion of trading is waiting for the right setups, waiting for an opportunity. We were good, right? We were mapping out gold. UB, UB has the bonds have come down hard over the last couple hours. Now it's trying to bounce a little bit here, heading up to the SMA line. Not confident in that move. this gold looks like it may, yep, it's going to stop us right there. So this is one of those that are kind of a bummer. You know, we get the signal here. The signal's in the band. So it would have been iffy. Would have stopped us out by one tick. Well, would have stopped us out by more there before it finally went. And this is one of those where, you know, if you mark it off once you get stopped out, mark it off where you got in originally, then wait for it to come back up. Could have got in on this candle or this candle, and then that would have worked. So this sell I would not have gotten into. Reason, you have broken the SMA line, but the bands are still coming up to meet it. So this way more often than not bounces on this. As you can see, it bounced. So mark this off here as an entry, and boop, 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 we would have hit our profit target there. Now here, again, we have a sell. Again, I'm not sure I would have gotten into this trade. We'll mark it. But again, we have the upward trending bands. Eventually this was right, but it looks like I bet you'll get stopped out on this before it goes the right way. No, we did not get stopped out. This would have been a good trade. Boom, 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 boom. Dee, 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 dee. There. And of course, I mean, this is 87.4, and this fell way far. It's still kind of falling, as a matter of fact. You can look at the 1 minute chart again, see whether or not, you know, we got any additional signals to get in along the way. Down, 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 down. Fake buy. This would have been a good signal because we reached our profit target in that one for that first candle. Would not have gotten in that buy because, again, downtrending SMA line. This one might have given us an issue. Let's look. Yeah, that would have been a stop out on that sell. So the 1 minute chart can giveth and it can taketh away. But so far in gold, based on signals that I would have taken, and not, I won't even talk about the 1 minutes. So we'll just talk about the 2 minute chart. 1, 2, 2 and 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, 4, 5 to 4, 6 to 4, 6 to 5, 7 to 5, 7 to 6. Ooh, that's a long trade. 7 to 6 so far. So a little more than 50%. Not including any extras you would have got here. You can see, you know, 7 to 6, 7 times 16 ticks, minus 6 times 12. It's $400 that you profit on one contract if you had traded all those trades. Even though you only have a slightly better than 50% win rate. See what those bonds are doing? Bonds, see, yep, that just totally failed trying to go back up. So see that we did get to profit target here on this this NASDAQ trade. 15 point, well, market, yeah, even more than 15 points. We can, since there's absolutely nothing going on, and like there's like nobody here either, so no one wants to chat. We'll mark off the Nazio from overnight. See what kind of moves we got. This has been a nice move down from here. Kept going down, down, down. Could have played these band bounces, although here it broke the third band 3 times, so this would have been kind of iffy, and it didn't really pull back much. This has been a decent band play. You can see, when it comes down and almost like straight through versus kind of riding down the bands, you're going to get a somewhat of a reversal. And this reversed, 5 points on this candle and up to the SMA line, which is, about 9 points. So here's our first buy signal, and it looks like this was well, actually would have got us 15 points. Sometimes it's hard to gauge because of the way TradingView is, and it kind of crunches things, and there's times big candles that look big or small. Actually, NASDAQ would have gave us beautiful signals overnight, it looks like here. It's another 15. Easily another 15 here. Look at that. Nazi would have been printing money all night. Let's see here. Maybe not here. This would have been a stop out. There. Actually, there. Which would actually made us miss this buy signal here if we had stayed in. I debate whether or not I should get out when I get an opposite signal, because sometimes the opposite signal ends up being false and it continues going that direction from your original signal. So I got to figure out a decent strategy on that. Maybe if it's because it gave the false signal almost an hour later. Maybe if it you get a signal that's after about an hour, you should give up on the trade. But let's mark off that signal. You see, that signal would have worked there, but if we had waited to get in until we got out, that would not have worked, and we would end up with another stop out. So that's the things I most likely I just wouldn't have gotten in that trade at all. Let's see what gold's telling us quickly. We have a push up, it's trying to give us a buy signal, but you can see we have this sharp downturn on the SMA lines, but the one on the 5 minute, the 2 minute has flattened. Buy signal went away, so another 2 minutes on that. We're checking. Natural gas is just going sideways now. Big up, big down, big up, big down. Going sideways with big candles. Each of these are 20 ticks, more than 20 ticks. So we're getting this buy on copper. I'm sorry, not copper, gold, different metal. But we're kind of. It looks like it's trying to curl the bands on the two, but this is the problem here on the 5. Platinum's kind of making the same move. You have this SMA line on the 5 minute, it's just about there. And I expect it to bounce off of that. We could take it on a sim. You know what? Since there's nothing else going on, let's take it on the sim. Go back to gold. It's after 7. So let's gold high volatility. 14 seconds on this candle. Mark it in. Okay, so we're in on this trade. We shall. Excuse me. We shall make this a bit smaller. And we'll put it always on top so we can continue what we were doing. What were we doing? NASDAQ? Yeah. So what I would have done basically is probably not gotten in long once I missed that signal if I had stayed in this short. And here, another short position. 10-point stop loss. Works. 15-point. Looks like this actually runs into this trade. Ah, actually, I mean, this would end up being one big trade probably, but either way, I'll only count this as one. So as you can see here now, one. Let's just count that as one, and we'll count this only as one. So 1 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 6 to 2, 7 to 2, 7 to 2 since open on the NASI. So 7 times 15 is 105 minus 20, so 95 points on the NASDAQ, you know, like 1900 bucks. This gold trade did exactly what I expected it to do, bouncing off that SMA line, which is why I did not take it in the Gauntlet account. I took it on a sim. We're down 11 ticks on that trade. Now, this is after 8 o'clock, so I do have the high volatility specs on, which is giving a full 25 tick stop loss to try and get 35 ticks profit. So it actually, I mean, it's still 10, 11 ticks away from stopping out. And check on the agriculture products overnight. Ag products started off nicely, but have been selling off. Big pullback there though, the European Open, but then continued to sell. Corn did about the same thing. Copper. Copper's kind of sideways since that move earlier. This move on crude would have been good here. That would have got us our 20 ticks. Well, gold is trying again here. We're only down 1 tick now. Which is why this time of day you also need to give your trades a little bit more time, room to move than other times because you start seeing more volume coming in, more volatility, so you can get a decent trade. It's actually sending a buy signal now on the 5 minute as well. So if it can break this SMA line, this would have been a good trade. Where it's now up 60 ticks. I'm sorry, 6 ticks. So yeah, this was a good could have been a good trade actually. It's gonna might prove me wrong. So we'll kind of watch this because there's nothing else going on right now yet. Up 7, 8 ticks now in the sim. But yeah, nice trade now. This have been we're up 12, 14 ticks. It's a 35 tick profit target or 34, something like that. So yeah, this is showing strength now. Gold's trying to come out. Now we still have downward bands. You can see the bands there still coming down. So I don't think this is going to continue to run up totally. But definitely showing strength here to power through that downward SMA, and it's starting to straighten that SMA line out. NQ. Big move up on the NQ. It's trying to do the same thing gold is. Yep. We're now at 25 ticks on this gold trade, and I'm really starting to regret not taking it on my regular account. Profit, my stop loss has is moving up with the price. Even if it pulls back now, we will get about 7 ticks of profit. You just see here on the 5 minute, it's running into another area of resistance, actually, of the 200 EMA. So this will be another, it looks like it's trying to bounce off the 200 EMA. It's come down. Uh, it's already come down 6 ticks, 7 ticks off the high of this candle. It's trying. ES. Charts blocking ES. ES is giving us a buy. I like that better than I like the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ still has its SMA to deal with, where the EMA, the S&P is already broken through. Where's my ES chart? There it is. So let's put this here for now. Well, we continue to watch this gold trade on the sim. The ES, we do have downward bands here, so that's a concern. Also have a 200 EMA, just about 2 points from its current price. Anyway, natural gas sending a signal too. I need more screen space. Let's move this over here. Move this over here for now. So we see that that natural gas trade, if we had entered here, would have went to profit target as natural gas continues to try and push downward. Don't see a new signal there, so I'm not sure what's going on. ES has pulled back now a little bit. Gold trade, gold you can see is continuing to struggle to get through this SMA, and it's pulled back now by 841. It's pulled back about nine ticks off that, but it's coming up and trying again. Bonds. Buy signal on the bond here on the 5 minute. We had this one on the 2 minute. Looks like this might have been doing the same thing gold's doing. Looks like everything's trying to push upwards now. And this would have been a good trade, it looks like. How about that? 7 ticks. Oops, sorry, did not mean to hit the mic. Oh, stretching here. Oh. We're still on this gold trade, but it looks like it's going to come down and try and hit our trailing stop. Or maybe not. NQ sideways since that buy signal here. We'll mark it off. This could be a case where it's going to go sideways a bit, pull back a little bit before taking off. So you see the bands and the SMA lines are starting to go horizontal. It's after 8, so I usually mark off a 30-point profit target for NQ with a 20 stop loss. Not sure that's warranted right now because there's not a lot of volatility or volume coming in yet. So, but that's what we'll go with. Gold, we're back up to 20 ticks in profit on the gold trade. So while there's nothing going on, hope you don't mind that I'm just going to keep charting since no one's talking. We'll see how crude went overnight. It's been a good trade here. Oh, look how long that trade. Wow. Holy crap. This trade started here a little bit after 10 my time and wouldn't have ended until almost 1 o'clock my time. So that's a 3 hours to get 20 ticks on crude oil. And as you can see, it actually, was negative here, positive. Really was a bipolar trade. Now this buy would have failed. Would have been iffy for me to get into. Wouldn't have failed if for the smaller profit targets. So maybe I still need to tweak some of these profit targets. Crude's been one of my hardest things to figure. And again, this is one of those cases where it gave me a nice sell signal. Okay, we just stopped out of our gold trade. We made about yeah, we made 7 ticks. So that's 70. That ended up with being a $70 trade, which really sucks because it was up 250. So that's another thing I struggle with is how quickly I should move my trailing stop up while still trying to give the trade room to continue going forward. Let's see. Put that down. See what the signals we're getting. Ooh, big, strong move here on the indices. I mean, strong move is a point and a half, but compared to what it was doing. So we have a minute 20 on this trade, I'm sorry, on this candle. Let's find ourselves that ES chart again, which is here. So we got a buy signal now on both the 2 and the 5. It's blown through the 200 SMA on the 2 minute. I'm sorry, EMA. I always reverse those in my head. It's coming up on it on the 5 minute. We also have some bands to deal with. This is a big candle that's starting to try and stretch the bands open. We're gonna go on the gauntlet account. We're gonna do a quantity of 1. I don't know, maybe not. This is a big pullback. Did get a buy signal, but now it's pulling back. Big bounce off the band. See if it goes back up. We'll try to get in on the bid if it does. Yeah, there it goes. Guys, I put an order in the bid, but it looks like it's going without us. Yeah, it went without us. That's why I hate using limit orders. I only use limit orders when I'm iffy. This definitely went without us though. See it continuing to move up strong. If we got in right at the market, even with 1 tick, we would be 2 points in the profit. 4 point profit target this time of day with 3 tick stop. Not tick, 3 point. stop. What you can see is kind of significant because it actually this four points would take us well above the bands. But although we're already, I mean, we're at 2 points already. But you can see how tight of a range this has been for the last few hours. Whereas this is 4 by 3, so 7 points is bigger than the whole range that we had seen. You can see here, bigger than this whole range going back here. So maybe this is, at this time of day, you try to give things room to roam, but maybe, 3, 4 points is actually too much right now. But we'll see. It's showing strength. Nasdaq is up 12 points since this buy signal. Came back a little bit, has now stretched those bands going up. You can see that it broke through that very strong downtrending SMA line, and it's straightening that out now as it's also heading towards EMA. So both of these are showing strength. What's the Russell doing? I haven't seen a signal in the Russell. The Russell never really showed any weakness. You see this buy signal way back here from even before we came on air over an hour ago. Natural gas. Oh, it's a crude chart, no wonder. Natural gas is continuing to go down. You can see here it hit a low earlier this morning, about 2 hours ago, a little over 2 hours ago, at 5.025. We're at 5.047, so we're about 20 ticks away from the low. This would be a support area. If it bounces, it could bounce off here like it did here, but if it breaks through, it could seeing heading down to our next support area would be down here, which I believe was yesterday's lows, all the way down to 4.913-ish, 4.912. So we'll see whether or not it gets through. If it breaks down and that'll be $1,000 drop from this yellow line down to this white line. But the oil pit, which also covers natural gas, opens in about 25 minutes. We always see some pretty decent bounces off of, moves off there. So we'll keep an eye on that. Back to our indices. They're had these two big moves up, here. Now they kind of stall for a minute or two. Still continuing to try and move up. You see Nasdaq kind of pulling back here just a tad bit. Back to the Russell. The Russell has been strong, doing its own thing. This buy here, looking for 3 on a 1.5 stop. 2 to 1. Would have got there. That sell wouldn't have worked. This buy would have worked too right here. This sell looks like that would have been a failure. We should go back to. It's hard to do it from that point. Let's does this work? 3 to. This would have been a failure. Probably, and we're seeing stuff work today that's going against the SMA line, but this, this is why you don't. This would have been a big failure. 1.5 stop. Boom. Now you see this sell here. Why wouldn't I have gotten in there? Because it finished below the bands, the third band. That told me that it was going to reverse. Now it didn't reverse a lot, but it did reverse. This buy was also a failure. This is overall a downtrend. And if you can, recognize the downtrend, you can avoid a bunch of these these call outs that are bot call outs that are end up failing. Make sure when we these signals, I don't do call outs, and I can't do call outs. That would be financial advice. This is not financial advice. So that would have worked. Wait, no, 3-0. I'm sorry, folks. I forgot. I changed the parameters on this. 3-0. I really like the 2-to-1 risk to reward, or reward to risk. So this buy signal here looks like it would have failed. Again, it was a downtrending SMA line. And there's the stop out. So this is where, the time of night just kind of ranged overnight. And you got to try and figure out maybe where you might want to go for smaller amounts or just deal with the ranging. Again, this would have failed here, but it looks like this buy signal here might have worked. Oh, maybe not. See, again, we might just be doing too high of a profit target. This would have failed there. No, wait. Well, wait a minute. Actually, look at that. It actually didn't. It would have went into this buy signal here. This would end up being one long trade. So we actually did reach our 4-point profit target just barely on the CS trade. And now it's pulling back. We got it 4 plus a couple ticks. ES did not. I mean, I'm sorry. NQ did not get there. NQ got up to, I'm guessing about 15 ticks. Oh, 18 points. I'm sorry. I keep mixing up my words this morning. So gas bounced again before getting down to its daily lows. We see crude continuing to go up. It came back. It came this big move up here, then came back down to the SMA lines. Now pushed up further. It's at its. Oh no, it's not. This bond move was a strong, strong, strong move. It's not usual to see. If you see this here, I mean, it just broke this and just totally just curled this within a couple of candles from big downtrending to uptrending. Jobless report just came out, which might explain some of these moves we're seeing. And the numbers were about what was expected, so that's a good sign for the economy. So that could explain why we've seen this big move quickly upwards around 8:30 on the indices, the bonds, energy a bit. This gold here, you see, this is why I wonder about trailing stops. We got into this trade on that on the sim you saw, here with a 2.5 stop and a 3.5 profit target. We ended up getting stopped out here because I was trailing my stop. But if you look, we ended up going to our profit target. So sometimes I do wonder whether or not trailing my stop is decent. I hate seeing a winner turn into a loser by not trailing stop, but it just seems like most of the time, the it eventually goes to profit. So I turned what would have been a $350 winner into a $70 winner. What's copper been doing? I haven't heard much from copper. Copper's a slow grind up, it looks like. Nearing the first resistance area, but it's been really a slow grind, respecting the SMA, but slow nonetheless. The bonds actually, from that buy signal down here at 88.31, went all the way up to 94. So that was a 4, 32, about 36, 37 ticks move. That's impressive. It's over $1,000 in a very short time. 22 to 44. So yeah, $1,000 in 22 minutes. This Nasdaq move that we've been watching, you know, I said maybe 30 points was too much to shoot for, but we got close. 27 points. So we'll see whether or not that continues its climb now. We'll see this jobless claims might be a bullish catalyst for the day. What was that? Oh, Bitcoin. Good morning. If anyone's joining me in the last few minutes, please feel free to say hi in the chat. Questions, comments, statements, anything are welcome. We're about 40 minutes from the New York Open. Gold's continuing to grind upwards as well. Platinum kind of sideways. Crude, ugly grind up, kind of pulling back now. Natural gas, undecided. Russell's kind of sideways for the minute. Nasdaq trying to make another push up. I know how it feels. I can barely do a push up myself. Crude, crude. Okay, big move down here on crude. Oil pit opens in 8 minutes. So that's interesting that we're seeing, you know, we saw 10 tick move downward here. And really, since we broke the band here, about 15 minutes ago, it's been moving down since. It's moved down 17 down to 87, so it's moved down 30 ticks from that, from hitting that third band. It's 5 minute candle open. I didn't take this trade simply because this is a 2 minute candle anyway. Duh. Thought my clock was wrong. But I didn't take this trade only because we're so close to the oil pit open, and when the oil pit opens, you never quite know exactly what's going to happen. But we can mark it off. Oh, copper's come alive. What's copper doing? Okay, we have a copper drop, or dropping copper. Dropper copper. So set a 30 tick profit target here on this oil move. See if it gets it, or see whether or not the oil pit opening causes us to bounce. There's copper again. Copper again. It's trying to send signals. Here, it's sending a sell signal, short signal, I should say. Or there it was, and there it goes away. Gold's doing the same. We'll wait to see what 9 o'clock brings, and then we will see maybe if we want to jump into this trade. See, platinum's continuing to go up. Copper's going down. Bonds. Bonds also seem like maybe they exhausted this move and are trying to pull back now. We see a big move. Copper, oh yeah, I'm sorry. The bonds just broke through its SMA on the 2 minute. Big move down here. 21 tick move down on the 5 minute chart. Copper. Wrong copper. Copper again keeps trying to send these sell signals that just aren't sticking. You see this crude oil here is now bouncing. We'll see what happens right at there. And looks like we are less than a minute away from the pit open. It's always fun to watch when things open at the mercantile exchange. What happens? You have a buy signal in natural gas. So right before the pit open, you have a lot of buyers coming in. Uh, about 20 seconds. Okay, pit open, and we see immediate drop. This would have stopped us outright at the pit open. So yeah, it was interesting to see how people were buying right into the pit open, and then we see it push down. So we finally got that sell signal on copper. It's giving us it on the 5 and the 2. We missed it on the 5, which is, I mean, I'm sorry, we missed it on the 2. My own fault. I always sort of hesitate right at the, help if I went the right direction on this. I can see that candle, it went right to our profit target too. That's kind of, I should have been paying attention. That I would have liked to take that trade. So I see gold has given us a sell on the 2 minute. I was hesitant because of the 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock time, 8 o'clock my time. Let's see here. This will be a 2.5 by 3.5. Let's see if that gets to there as well. Hi, Mr. G. Sorry, didn't notice you there. No, it's the 2 minute time frame. I don't go any higher than I very rarely look at higher time frames above 15 minutes. The most every now and then I'll look at an hour. That's just 5 minute and 2 minute. Okay, so copper, wrong copper chart, copper immediately bounced. It gave us that real quick 20 ticks down, and now it's trying to go back up. Showing an uptrending SMA line on the 5-minute chart. So strong buy signal. Let's take this. If it stays, it's iffy right now. Switch forward to the gauntlet. Order quantity of 1. Our normal 20 by 15. Got 2 minutes on this chart. I'm sorry, 1 minute on this candle yet. Natural gas sending a signal. Natural gas is trying to push up. Go the long here on this. This time of day, I give a full, oh, not 60, 40. That's 50. 40 is here somewhere. We're definitely seeing things starting to really move here. Big move up on gas. And on crude, buy on crude. We're still watching copper, buy on copper. Things moving fast. We're going to mark it into this order here at the close of this candle. If this buy order, then this buy signal continues. There we go, mark it in. Immediately down 3 ticks. I'll be watching these resistance points. We're in at 44.64.10. First resistance is at 464.75. So we'll be watching that. If it seems to, if it does get up there and starts to struggle, we can close the trade early. I also don't, if this drags out, I really don't want to be in at the open at 9:30. So we'll watch that as well. But it's showing some strength here. We're up 6 ticks. Make this a little bit bigger as we'll watch both charts. We're up 4 ticks, 5 ticks, 6 ticks, 7 ticks. I guess I shouldn't try and count them out because it's moving too fast. We are nearing that first resistance area. We're 5 ticks away. And it seems like it's kind of struggling as it approaches that resistance area. Oh, big pullback here. Now we're, ouch, 6 ticks down. So We kind of bounced off the band, and we're gonna get stopped out. Where? Maybe not. See, see what it does. Big volatility here. Bounced off the SMA on the 2. So hopefully it stays above the SMA, because that's basically where my stop loss is at right now on the 2-minute chart. It just happened to fall that way, but sellers are definitely pushing this down. And now we're one tick. Yep, we're stopped. $186, $187.50 loss. So what did we do wrong in that trade? Nothing that I'm aware of. I mean, the only thing is, going toward those resistance areas. Maybe I should have just taken the smaller win, but we really didn't even hit the resistance line. It just immediately pulled back, and you can see now it's actually, it came down, hit my stop, and is now going again. No, it's coming back down. Okay, so yeah, it's just a trade that didn't work. The only thing I can say I did wrong on this is, maybe I would have wanted to after it got through the resistance. But we'll see. I mean, this might have been just, ends up where it went down as far as my stopped me out. It's going to go the other way. And I mean, I could get back in if I wanted to, if it gets back to, this area. But I probably won't. I'll wait for it to get above these resistance areas. Copper now looks like it's going to send the opposite signal. So, I mean, this is just a quick reversal that I just didn't see coming, which is fine, that happens. Gold here is sideways, platinum heading up. Crude has been weird. See this natural gas up 34 ticks, looking for 60. What are the indices doing? I haven't checked on them lately. We still haven't gotten that 30 points on the NASDAQ. We did get a sell signal here on the S&P at one point, but it was coming down again into the SMA, and it bounced. So that wouldn't have been a trade I would have taken anyway. So now we see a strong, and the strong sell signal now in copper. And again, I somehow missed it when it shot on the prior candle. But that again, look at that. So this would have reached their well, no, maybe not. Yep, that again. This is another down candle that reached 20 ticks. So we're not showing that we're in an overall downtrend. I mean, overnight we were definitely in a downtrend, but I mean, we've been in an uptrend here now since about 7:15. But yet the last the two sell signals worked and the buy signal didn't. So so again when I got to profit, I missed it, and I might have been a little hesitant anyway because of just getting stopped out. But two out of these last three trades worked. The one that I took didn't. That sometimes my luck. So it looks like it might be sideways a bit to the open on the Nasdaq and the ES. Gold sideways, platinum still pushing up. The bonds had this huge pullback and is now pushing back up. So you can see we sent a sell signal. This is an interesting chart. UB did send us a sell signal here, and it would have been good. Would have been excellent. I mean, that was a 14-point candle, so just shy of $500. Our 7-tick profit target would have been easily hit. And then, I mean, the very next candle we get a buy, but I think this would have ended up stopping us out because it pulled back to the SMA and then went. I haven't experimented with using a higher stop loss and profit target. Oops, I did that reversed. During the higher volatility times with the ELUB, maybe that'd be warranted. I mean, here if I had done a 10, anything more than anything less than 10 tick stop would have stopped me out here. But I don't know. We can watch. We can see whether or not a 10-15 would have worked here. I mean, obviously a 15 would have worked here and here and even here, I think. Yeah, that would have worked. But that wouldn't have, obviously. But that got us our 7. So, so we'll keep an eye on that. Right now, if we had gotten in that trade with a 10 tick stop, it's up 7 ticks at this point. Problem with a 10 tick stop on the Ultra bond or any, the Treasury, any of the bonds is that that's $312 if you stop out. So it's about 10 minutes away from the New York Open. I'm going to mute for a couple minutes while I eat some breakfast. We can see copper kind of now free falling. So of course, yeah, I didn't get in this trade, which really sucks. But yeah, we have just watched it go down $1,000 here in the last 10 minutes. Uh, one of these days I'm gonna catch one of these. One of these days. Good morning, Rich. How are you this morning? I was just being quiet here while I finished up breakfast, waiting for the open. Okay, breakfast is done. So now we wait for the open. Ouch. Crude oil kind of just bobbing up and down. Everything seems a little indecisive right now. Good unemployment numbers earlier today, so that could be a market catalyst. We're waiting to see what we do at open. Crude selling off, but not below its lows of the day. Copper, big sell off, trying to bounce now. Up there we go. Now we got some momentum upwards as we're going into the open. Nice buy signal that I somehow missed here on the S. Not that I would have taken it at this close to the open. This is our Rhythmic Pro that you see here for different company. Really hate the way this works. Dee 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 dee. I can never remember. How to get up? How to get a order thingy on this? Save chart, upward chart. No, 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 no. I don't remember. I got her. Oh, show trade bar. There we go. That was easy enough. So we are 47 seconds to the open. We'll watch the indices here at the open. Nasdaq and the S&P. 10 seconds. Ding, ding, ding. Indecision here at the open. We were in a squeeze on the Nasdaq. Sideways squeeze here on the bands. It looks like it's still trying to decide what it wants to do. Big move up. Oh my God, really? So we have a big move up here in the Nasdaq, 18 points. But we're going downward on the S&P, which is unusual. Unusual to see them going two different directions. So the S&P's trying to bounce up. Now we're seeing some selling pressure coming in. You notice the Nasdaq came right up to its just about its high of the day, the high of the overnight session, and bounced off. It's coming back down, looking like we might try and go short here. Yep, now we are in a red candle or doji. indecision. That candle ended up going up in the first 2 minutes. We saw it go up 20 points and then come all the way back down at 28 points. We have a sell on both the Nasdaq and the S&P right now. Or we did. A lot of indecision here. Market can't decide which direction it wants to go. Let's give a quick look at some of the other things. We have gold still going sideways. The open didn't seem to really matter there. Copper's kind of sideways as well. Oil, big drop, but came back up. Natural gas, sideways. Bonds, continuing their rise up. Rise up. Back to the indices. It's still unsure. Seems to want to go upwards. But sideways so far. Big doji candles on both Nasdaq and the S&P. The S&P is just slightly green. We're watching there. Now we start getting some green momentum on the Nasdaq. Nothing to write home about for sure. It seems like it wants to go up, but definitely some selling pressure coming in. Our high overnight was about 15,367. We're approaching that now. We're at 65, 66, 68. There we go. Kind of bounced off that high, came back down. Can it continue to break it? I mean, ooh, big move back down. ES is showing downward momentum. So we have basically going different directions here between the ES and the Nasdaq. It's trying to break its highs again today. There we go. In case you're wondering, I'm in a Nasdaq trade. That's why I'm watching it so close. I don't usually. Yeah, so I closed out of the Nasdaq trade. I'm also in a Lilu evaluation that kind of fell into my lap, and I ended up with $500 there. I need to do more trades like that. The Lilu is kind of something I don't expect to pass, so I just kind of throwing caution to the wind, and that was a pretty good trade. So now let's go back to the earn the trade and try and find something to trade on earn the trade. Everything else seems to be sideways today. I mean, even the Nasdaq. I mean, for the open, this is kind of a calm open. But even with hardly caring about that trade, it was like still made me a nervous wreck. So we see that we do have some downtrending now on the crude oil. This, what was that signal that I just knocked down accidentally? UB, what's the bonds doing? Bonds going roller coasterish. So you see, we kind of topped out here at about 9, 10 ticks. So using a 10 tick stop loss here, would you had this in order to get profit, you had to do a 1-to-1, and I'm not willing to do that. So I'll just continue to take my stops here at 5. We did get a sell, but coming into an uptrending SMA line. Crude. Looks like this signal here right before the open. And like I said, I very rarely will take a trade right before the open, but this signal would have been good, I think. Yeah, would have hit exactly the 30 point profit target that I look for. And if it didn't, it looks like it's going to try to hit it again. We're still in this natural gas long trade from back here that I'm not sure I would have took because we had the candle finished in the bands, so that usually is a bad indicator. Obviously, we would have got you know 43 ticks out of it. So this time of day I usually shoot for 60. But I believe the way I have my stop set up, my trailing stop is this would have Once it hit 40, it would have came back down, and we would have got $100 out of it. Anyway, it has sent an opposite signal here, but on an uptrending SMA, so you can see it's kind of, that symbol there to go short is kind of iffy still at this point. Rich, have you taken any trades yet this morning? Looking like a nice green candle bounce here off this SMA, which is why I said this sell signal I didn't like here, because you came in down into the uptrending SMA, and this candle here is a seven tick upwards, so we would have immediately stopped down on the next candle if we had taken that signal. 30 isn't too bad. Managing your risk, managing. Keep knocking down those alerts without looking at what those alerts were. Gold. What's gold doing? Ooh. Again, I missed the miss. Oh, well, I mean, I could have a chance. So gold's showing some strength here, though pulling back at this very second. Let's bring up a gold chart. You can see this sell signal would have been a bad one to take. Never got close to profit target and ended up stopping out. This SPY signal we're watching now, I didn't catch it right when it came on, but which was good because it's pulled back by 12 ticks here. But if it comes back up, we will look at it and get, once it gets back up to the level of that candle, we'll look on it. We'll move back over to the Gauntlet account on it and see if we can get anything out of it if it comes up. It's interesting, if we follow the 5-minute candle, we'll be actually up here. On the 2-minute candle, we're showing downward momentum. We were showing downward momentum. New 2-minute candle. Still not back to where we were on the top of this 5-minute candle. I'm sorry, on the top of this 2-minute candle that gave us the signal. Uh, so our entry point is around 1786.3. If we get back up there, so we'll look down there. It's 4 ticks below. You see that we do have uptrending SMA lines on both the 2 and the 5. So that's showing a little bit of strength. Natural gas is sending us a signal. Oh, I didn't realize I still had a trend bot on that. I need to take that off. Get rid of trend bot. Natural gas, I don't know what signal it was sending. Kind of faking me out. I haven't been charting off platinum, but platinum's made a nice move here. Made two nice moves, down and then back up. Let's go back over to the Nasdaq. Check see what it's doing. ES just forwarding with a sell signal. Eh, so Nasdaq's continuing its trip up. So that it did finally convincingly break the overnight highs, and is now this is our new high of about 84. So I should have stayed in it longer. Seeing a buy signal here on the ES or trying to. So we'll continue to watch that. What's gold doing? Where's my gold chart? There it is. Nope, gold big pullback. So as of right now, this would have been a bad signal, and it was really close to the third band, so that was definitely a warning sign. Um, 76.3 down to 83.7. We'll be stopped out of this trade if we had gotten in. Big sell off on gold. Or, I mean, you couldn't call it a sell off, but that's a little dramatic. But even so, this is pulled back over 30 ticks, which is interesting. So that was good not to take that. Copper. Copper's continuing its sell off. This I guess I guess something big happened in the copper market last night. Someone told me about it on the Earn to Trade Discord. Because you could see copper just totally dropped. Copper's now in this range today. Copper's dropped 20. It's not points, but so 400 ticks. You know, that's $5,000. It's dropped $5,000 since its high of at about 10 p.m. Eastern last night. So in 12 hours, it's dropped 5,000 bucks. ES is surging back, though not getting above my little my little buy line here. But I guess copper, let me find that. Do, 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 do. Copper prices fell on Thursday as a short squeeze on the London Metal Exchange eased and attention refocused on the threat of slowing demand in top consumer China. So, copper did that amazing move all last week, basically. Yes. Oh, I'm here on the ES. So we do have a buy on the ES. We're still seeing momentum upwards on the Nasdaq. So let's see. We have a minute on this candle. We'll try an ES trade if it closes good on this candle. Sometimes I hate waiting for candles to close because we continue to watch. But every time I don't wait for a candle to close, then it ends up pulling back like half the candle right before it closes. So buy market here. Spammers are out in full force in the last 24 hours. Another that bot has caught like 5 spammers between last night's stream and today's stream. Nope. So we market it in. We're in one contract on the ES. Immediately starts pulling back on me. 3 ticks. It did hit that third band on the 2 minute, so that was maybe a little bit of a warning sign, but we'll see. Nasdaq's continuing to break highs. Jay, things are. I lost one copper trade, and the two surrounding it both would have went to my profit target. So I'm just having bad luck. Um, the markets are moving nicely. I'm just not taking the right trades. But here, this ES trade I just got into um, is now up, 5, 6 ticks. See if it can continue its upward momentum. If you fail that class J, don't blame me. And GC, let's see what they're doing while we watch this trade. GC, big sell signal there, but coming down into upwards bands. NG, still sideways. I don't know what that signal is about. Still, we're up now 2 ticks on this ES as things have kind of slowed down here. Let's mark this always on top. We can play around here. Hoping that, now it's pulled back. We're back into negative territory. Might have hit a top. Might be heading toward a stop. I didn't try to rhyme that. So we're down 1 point now on this ES trade. See if this is a quick pullback. 5 minute candles closing. Next one's opening. Nasdaq's continuing also kind of. It's just kind of bobbing around the same area here. Yeah, you need to be very careful. Um, is there any type of safeguard where you can make it that you can't enter a trade on a specific asset, so you only can trade that micro account or micro asset? I mean, I'm trying to give this ES trade a little room, but it looks like it's going to come down into a stop out. This is where I get frustrated. Yep, I just stopped out. It's where I get frustrated. All these good trades that I see that would have worked, and it seems like the ones I take are the ones that don't work. Oh, for 20? You took 20 trades today? where did I enter on the S&P off this buy signal here? Which, I mean, it did hit the band, so I mean, it ended up. I mean, it did end up going up by a point. Maybe I should have closed it. Okay, 0 for 2. I was like 0 for 20. I'm like, that would have really been a bad day. I think I, yeah, 0 for 2 sounds much better. I'm 0 for 2 on the earn the trade gauntlet as well. But yeah, I entered off this. Maybe I should have listened to myself and not taken a trade that was in a band break. But you know, the Nasdaq was showing all this strength, so I thought we'll go with it. Now on the day, down $337 on the Gauntlet account. It seems like trading gods hate me. Excuse me. So you see crude made a new low for the day, then immediately bounced back up. So, you know, every trade that I would have taken, you know, would have worked besides the one I've actually taken. It's just, that's the way my life seems to go. Bonds, oh, bonds broke down. We have broken bonds. Oh my goodness. So, you know, again, we got this great sell signal here, and that would have worked. But the pullback, and again, about 10 ticks, I mean. So, you know, we have two trades here that would have worked with 10 tick stop losses. But we almost, you know, if you looked here, you know, 10 ticks, we got to, and then we could have got to, you know, looks like we could have got 11 ticks out of it. Oops, I moved it. How did I do that? Oh, there, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, we got 11. We could have got 11 ticks out of us, and again, we would have needed a 10 tick stop loss here on this short. Excuse me. You know, no, even 10 ticks wouldn't have been enough there. We would have needed 12 ticks. So this was one of those that could have. Oops, I remove, remove. Wow. You know, maybe look to get in once it came back through. You know, here is the entry point, and then that would have worked. So looks like natural gas might have finally found a direction that's down. Copper is still kind of indecisive now. It's trying to bounce in those lows earlier. Gold, this would have been an awesome trade to get into, I think. I say that when I look at it, and then sometimes I plot it out, and it's like, well, that's not so great after all. Yeah, it actually wouldn't have reached their profit target yet. We'll be at 23, 24 ticks. So continue to watch it. ES came back down to its SMA line here on the 2-minute chart where it stopped us out. Interesting to see if it bounces and continues to go higher from there. Maybe if I had given it more room. I don't like taking bigger losses, but sometimes you need to. I've messed with a 4-point stop loss at this time of day. So how far did this come down from our entry? So yeah, right now a 4-point stop loss would have kept us in this trade, although we'll still be down. I mean, in the scheme of things, $200 isn't that big of a deal, for a stop. Because I mean, heck, my stop on copper is always 187.50. So, you know, shooting for a 6 points on here, I don't know. I guess, I mean, if you think about it, back here at on this one, which I didn't get into because it was right before the open, if I had run that 4-point stop there and that 6-point profit target, this one would have went. Well, no, it would have come close. Would have been up about, you know, 5.25. But even so, that would have been even better, closer to the profit target. So, wider stops during this time of day is probably best, especially on something like the ES. I just, taking those losses suck. It just, I'm just a little bit frustrated that nothing seems to go my way. Now, I shouldn't complain. I guess I did do a $500 profit trade on the legal account. And if I had stayed in that, it would much more. I just need to trade with reckless abandon. Generally, last night I did the stream last night, and I didn't take any. I was experimenting with the scalping that we were kind of talking about yesterday on Discord, and I just did. I was going in looking for just every asset. I went on Sim, and every asset I was looking for either 10 ticks up or stop out at 10 ticks, and that worked out horribly. By the way, I ended up being down over $1,000. But afterwards, I plotted out my regular. By the time I went to bed, I plotted out my regular, all the different wins and losses on all the different assets, and over 9 assets last night from open till about midnight my time, or 11 o'clock my time. I would have been 17 of 22 across all assets, 17 wins and 5 losses. This is why I get frustrated because I'm seeing these great results, and then I enter a trade, and that happens to be the wrong trade. And you can see here, the S&P is trying to curl back up. Still trying to, the S&P never did hit its overnight highs, which was last evening, but it's still trying, and we're not far off. Still not far off. The overall all-time highs, 54.25. We're at 55.24. So I'm sorry, 55, 50, 45, 54, the all-time high. Little dyslexic there. And so we're 30 points away from all-time highs in the S&P. And honestly, I thought today might be a day it really goes because of the jobless claims or whatever was a good number. We're triple topping here on the Nasdaq. Boom, boom, boom. It's struggling breaking 395. You know, I don't know. I tried. If I had the time to replay, and try and play a chart as it was happening, maybe, but I don't think so. I mean, I play almost every, when I'm going through here, I play almost every signal. You can see, I mean, even here, I counting this as a win and a loss depending on which signal I would have got in. Because if I would have got on this and stayed in and didn't cut it when I got the opposite signal, it would have been a loss. If I got in when here, it would have been a win. So, unless it's obvious that I would not have gotten in, like I can't find an example here. Oh, here, this buy signal I didn't mark off. Big wick into the bands, relatively big wick based on this. In a trending market, I probably would not have gotten in there. But other than that, I mark off just about every signal. Same thing here. But I mean, even if I marked off here, let's say I would have marked those off, and those would have been definite stop outs. Nasdaq for me, one and one, two, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 6 to 2, 7 to 2, 8 to 9 to, 10 to, 10 to. So you even had those two that I did mark off as losses. That's 10 wins, 4 losses on the Nasdaq. You know, all but this one was the normal 15 to 10. So let's say 10 to 4. 10 times 15. Why am I even doing that on a calculator? Even I can do that. And then minus 40. But 100, 110 points on the Nasdaq times $20. That's $2,200. Oh, and Nasdaq broke that level. And look at here. So looky here, looky here. Let's go off the daily chart. And this S&P trade, if I had given it room, if I did a 4 point stop instead of a two, it would have came down. It would have hit the SMA line and bounced and out back into profit. See, let me show you here on Copper J where I stopped out. It's kind of funny, You got three signals quickly in a row. And the overall, I mean, this was right before this started, this major downtrend. So you can see we were uptrending. The sell signal would have worked, just barely, but it got to the 20 ticks. This buy signal is where I stopped out. It got up about 14 ticks and then pulled back into the stop. And then, of course, then the downtrend started. So there are three quick trades right in this whole area. I mean, this is all of 15 minutes. Three signals within 15 minutes, which is really rare. And I picked one of the three that didn't work. See, copper's been good to me. It would have been good almost, all through the day and night. Copper just totally lost its mind last night and dropped. I mean, copper's down $5,000 a contract today. So we're seeing like we're starting to slowish down. Not really sure that's a word. Made another new daily high on the Nasdaq. S&P S&P touched its daily high and then rejected, coming back down. If nothing exciting happens in the next 15 minutes, we might wrap up the stream at 10:30. If anything does exciting, we'll continue. This gold trade ended up not getting to our profit target. Got 27 ticks. Russell. R- Russell. Wow. I mean, that's Russell is probably the strongest of the three. It would have provided a couple areas where we could have got back in. This was the one signal. Here's the 1 minute chart. So we could have I run an 87 tick this time of day by 60. That would have given us a nice win there. And that blew through another buy signal here at the open. So will give us another nice win. And we could have kept, if we used the either the ATR or the SMA line as a trailing stop, we would be in this trade all the way through. This is going up from here, 85 to 02. So it's going up 17 points. That's $850 on the Russell. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, back. You can see that the S&P is struggling to get above its certain levels, but uh, Nasdaq's continuing its move upwards. Have to think that we're probably going to soon run into the Nasdaq pulling back, but maybe not. Nasdaq's up about 50 points since the New York Open. We're continuing to make new highs on the Nasdaq while the ES struggles. Russell is pulling back here. And I haven't really looked for resistance points on the Russell. I mean, that's a pretty significant. I mean, it's unusual. If you, from here to here, you're almost at a right angle on the band. We're above yesterday's highs. We haven't been this high. Wow, it's been a while since we were this high. So let's go to the daily chart. Wow. Yeah, okay, there. Last time we were this high was the 3rd of September. And it's almost breaking that area. Then you'll have to go back to July. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Still going for a little while yet, but remember that back here tomorrow morning, 7:30 Eastern, and after that, I'll do Monday night again, Monday evening. Probably do the same schedule next week as this week. Monday evening, Tuesday morning, Wednesday evening, Thursday morning, Friday morning. Slight, basically sideways on copper with a slight downward tilt. This gold trade, if we had gotten in on this signal, we would still be in and in profit. Be interesting to see where that goes. Nasdaq and S&P are both kind of bopping their heads against highs here. This is that trade that I stopped out on, but if I had a four point stop loss, I wouldn't have, and it would be just barely in profit at this point in time. Bonds, we would have had to use a different get in because we were stopped out on the sell. And it would have been a weird place to get in as the bands are kind of coming upwards. And I really don't like going down to the 1 minute on the bands. I'm sorry, yeah, 1 minute on the band on the bands. And the 1 minute, might give us a better entry. Let's see. Boom. 5 tick stop. Yeah, that on the 1 minute it gave us the better entry. It's interesting. I was doing some experimenting last night on this as well. Russell gave a sell signal. Russell's giving a sell signal. Pretty big pullback here on the Russell. But I was doing experiment or data analysis, I guess you could say. Getting the signals on the 1 minute give you better signals. Like here, you can see here on the 2 minute, you can see where I placed my thing, where I would have got in on this candle versus this candle, which gave us another whole 6 ticks. And on this one here, I mean, this was the one that stopped us out. If, probably would have still stopped us out. But we got in a little, just a little bit earlier. The problem is, you end up getting more bum signals. Like, on the 2 minute, this buy signal didn't pop up. I'm not sure about that one. I don't remember seeing that one either. So you do end up with, more issues with using a 1 minute. Plus, it's harder to keep up with. You're having, when an alert fires, you have just seconds to quickly jump in. And if I could trade off of TradingView, that'd be easier by having to jump here, then jump to, find my right NinjaTrader chart. And, NinjaTrader keeps moving the charts around. If they stayed in one spot, but the most recent chart you use ends up going to the end of the line. So I'm here looking to see which chart I want quick. It's just really hard to jump in off a 1 minute chart. Now, I mean, theoretically, you know, if you're getting in earlier, maybe missing the exact entry doesn't matter as much. It's not something I've analyzed. I mean, but I would love to get be able to get the earlier signals on the 2 minute chart without getting a lot of extra noise on the chart. But I haven't figured out how to do that. Anyone else have any thoughts or comments or questions or statements or insults? So we see, not sure if I'm not, I don't, do I not have an alert? I keep seeing them be missing alerts on crude. Let's see if this sent an alert. What time was this? Between 9:08 and 9:10. Did I miss it? Oh, yeah, I did. Right there. So let's see here. Clone. As you can see, somehow I've missed two straight good short on crude oil. These have been $300 winners. Now I think this buy signal in between, which I would have been hesitant to take because of the downtrend being seen on SMA lines. But so it looks like that would have failed, but not by much. Wow, that actually would have went within one tick of the profit target. Let's see if that's in the right area. It's not. Wait a minute. No. Entry of been 75, so it would have missed it by two ticks. So I would have ended up at least taking a $50 to $100 winner off of that because I wouldn't have let that go to a loser. But for the stats, I'll make it look like a loser because my spreadsheet is meant to be worst case scenario. I never did finish marking off crude for the overnight. That's a winner. I should do it from back here. This is where I stopped before. Anyone have any thoughts? See, gives good signals. Well, no, I wouldn't be public about that if I was. No. Uh, I'm looking at maybe next few minutes. If nothing pops here in the next couple minutes, yeah, I'll uh, probably end the stream here in the next 10 minutes or so. Go to like 10:45 unless something exciting happens. Here we see crude is continuing to make new daily lows. So let's take a look at crude since open. Natural gas is still going sideways, not deciding what it wants to do. But crude since open, we can count these off. Uh, this is one of those I'll count it as a loss, but I'm figuring out at open, if I was trading at open, I should have a much smaller profit target. If I'd been doing 10-7 or something like that, that would have been a winner. I'm not going to get 20 right at the open, but we'll count it as a loss. So 01, 1-1. Why am I doing 16-12 there? Boop, 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 boop. This one went for the full 20 either. And starting, anything before 7:30 probably shouldn't be full. We'll count this as a win because it would have went enough to get to profit, but not a full win. So we won't count it at all. 01, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, 3-2, 4-2, 4-3, 5-3, 6-3, 7-3, 7-4, 8-4, 8-5, 9-5. So 9 wins to 5 losses. Up. So natural gas just dumped big time. And so that ended up, that would have stopped us out of this trade that started way back here, which would have been iffy because it was straight up into the bands. And honestly, I mean, if I was still using the 40 tick instead of the 60 tick for this time frame, that would have been a winner. But I'll count it as a loss in the spreadsheet. Copper, totally sideways at this point. NQ, continuing to make new highs. Oh, and look at this. This ES is going to break my heart. Show what this is here. But it's now 3.5 points in the profit. That's where we stopped at. If I had just went with the wider stop on this. But NQ's continue to make new daily highs up to 423. It's up 70, just about 70 points since the open. We are at new daily highs as well on the ES. I have a resistance point here drawn out at 3250. I hate it when I don't remember why I drew it out, so we gotta look back. Oh, high of yesterday at 32.50. We are just 2.5 points away from that, or so. And yeah, natural gas probably bouncing off that big move down. Yeah. Oh wow. So look at that. That's interesting. This is well. This has been a frustrating trade. If I had been in this trade and stayed through the whole thing, got stopped out finally here for you know that'd been a $400 loss, 40 ticks, and then it immediately bounces back up 36 ticks on that candle, more if you include the wick. It's just being a little wild right now. Bonds. Oh, we're still on the 1 minute. No, we're on 2 minute. Part of my yawn. I never set up my caffeine IV this morning. Oh wow, look at this natural gas. So it's sending buy signals now. I mean, look at this doji candle here. This candle opened here. This is a 2 minute candle, and from the open, it's gone down as much as 22 ticks and up as much as 17 ticks. This is 17, 22 is 39 tick range in 2 minutes. No idea what it wants to do. Watching this ES trying to break my heart. Still up. Would be up 3 points here. Guys on the Discord think 45.32 is a big level. They seem to think it's going to get there. Might be trying to get a little bounce here on copper. I need a nap. When you look at the 5 minute chart on this natural gas, that just kind of looks ugly. But there would have been plays in there for sure. But kind of looks like an abnormal heart rhythm, which is probably what my heart would have looked like if I had been trying to trade that. Yep, gold sideways, sideways, sideways. Bonds, sideways, sideways, sideways. Yeah, soybean oil's losing. Soybean oil's dripping. Would have been a good short off the open. Corn, corn looks ugly. Copper squeezing. Basically hanging on just to see what ES does. See whether or not risking a little bit more would be a good risk to take. This is like everything's sideways now. Nasdaq and the S&P. If I was still in this trade here, up 3 to 3.5 points, I probably would have cut it at this point, thinking it was going to start running into resistance from yesterday's highs. Someone in the Discord just said watching ES right now is like watching paint dry. I would have to agree. Absolutely nothing exciting happening here. Yeah, it's up to 4.5 points. There we go. Maybe now something's. Yeah, if I could fast forward the market right now, I would. I bet you if we like, oh, hold on, what's the UB doing? Hey, UB might be curling back up. But let's have a little fun. ES chart here, just what we're watching. Oh, actually, just made a big move up. Oh, let's go back to the trading view here. Might have just hit a profit target. Yeah, it's just about. But for fun, let's go to a 1 second chart. There's a 1 second chart. Let me looks better with that. Whoops. You see how fast the 1 second chart moves. Each of the white dashes means there was no orders, no volume that 1 second, or one a volume of one, I think. Let's look. Yeah, volume of one, or no, volume just had zero movement. There we go. We just hit our profit target. I'm pretty sure. Yep. No, maybe. Is this closed? This is closed. So this is what we're waiting on. If I had just used a 4 point stop instead of the tighter stop, this would have ended up being a $300 winner. So maybe that's, this is what the parameters I need to use during the more high volatile times between like 8 and 10 or whatever, because this would have never stopped us out otherwise. It never broke the SMA line. That should have been my cue to put the stop low. Either way, another thing I've been toying with is using this, ATR line here as a stop. Now, in this case, that might have been a little bit excessive. That would have been that would have been almost a 6 point stop. So that would have been $300. You would have needed to have a good reward to risk. You would have needed at least 7.5 points, and it got that. So maybe, but I mean, just using the SMA line, if I put it at the SMA line, which would turned out to be exactly 4 points, right here at the SMA from this entry point. That would have kept us in the trade. And except for this one little wick down, it never finished. The candle never finished below the SMA going up. So that's our lesson in putting better stops in to give your trades room to go. So, okay, let's take a quick run through and see if anything's exciting besides the fact that the S&P just got above yesterday's highs. You might see this starting to grind up higher. NQ is always also at daily highs. Russell hasn't really come back yet. Copper buy signal, which I missed while playing with the ES. So we'll mark it, but I missed it not getting in. Gold still sideways. We're just break even at this trade that was entered almost an hour ago. Bonds, that buy signal we checked out a little earlier went away. Another new low for the day of crude. And yeah, natural gas is continuing to look ugly. So there we go. It's another stream in the books. We're gonna cut it here. Back tomorrow morning, 7:30 Eastern time. I'll get the schedule up for next week. Hopefully we can start getting some positive momentum. I just need to start taking more trades and let the chips fall where they may. So thank you for joining me. Hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.